Okay, project is to replace the pool pump with the basket and everything, and connect a new pump to those PVC pipes and save $2,000 in the process. It's a good idea to actually buy a new pump that has exactly the same size, exactly the same power and voltage as the original one. That will simplify the installation substantially. So that's what I did. So this is the pump I bought. It has identical size, identical power as the original one. Make sure you buy the correct voltage. You may see this one is switchable 115 to 30, and it's currently set to 230 volts. We'll have to change it by turning a screw inside this under this cover to make it work from 115 volts, 120 volts, which is in my house. Okay, we took off the cover. Here's the switch from 230 to 120. 115 it says, so 120, 115 volts. Okay, for this project we will need the following parts. We'll need to replace this angle, we need to replace this part, we need to replace part of this pipe, we need to replace this thing and part of this pipe. So this is what comes with the pump. The new pump comes with those connectors. So this connector will replace this place, this thing over here. The other connector will be here on this side. This pipe only costs $5, so close to $5, will be used to replace part of those pipes here. The angle connector will replace this connector. This angle connector is very expensive, $8. Okay, and those two little connectors, they are $2 each. We will need the glue for the PVC as well. We will also need a saw to be able to cut the pipes. Now we have to measure the old pipe from this edge to the center of this pipe, which gives us about 8.5, 8 and 8 3/4, close to 8 3/4 inch from the center of this one to the edge of this one. We'll need this to cut the new pipe exactly to the same size. Also measure from the edge of this pipe to the center of this cross, 7-inch even. This will need to measure this again, the 4.5 to the edge of the connector. Okay, so here's what I have so far. I cut the pipe, the spare pipe, about 3 inch long. And now before I cut the old pipe, I need to measure a couple of things. So let me just assemble this whole thing together. That would be this pipe going into this angle, and this side of the pipe will go into this connector. So we just connected those parts without glue. A little bit tight, but not too tight. Okay? Now we need to measure this and see where we need to cut it out. Okay, so this is how you measure it. Okay, the pipe, when assembled, it requires about 1 inch to feed into the connector. So I'm trying to disconnect the can. Okay, so what I did, I actually measured the difference between the assembled part, and I step away about an inch from the edge of the connector, and that's where I cut it. Okay, when both ends are cut out, you can move the pump. Of course, you already disconnected the power on the main switch. Main switch is already off. Now you should be able to move it. Okay, you see the old motor, after I took the cover off, the old motor has some wires coming into it. So make sure, and you see there is 115 volts already selected here. So make sure there is no voltage between those wires. There is no power connected, just in case. And also take a picture of the connections. You will need to recreate exactly the same connector, connecting pattern for the wires when you connect a new motor. Okay, when the motor is removed and we have access to the pipes, we should clean those pipes with some sandpaper and actually make them, prepare them for gluing and connecting to the new pipes. So I brought the new pump and I pull on the ground, and it looks like it has to be lifted a little bit, just a little bit, maybe a quarter an inch, half an inch, to level with this pipe. This one seems to be okay, it's flush with this level, so we have to lift it just a little bit, okay? Okay, so we're preparing to glue the surfaces here of those pipes and everything, all those parts of those pipes together and to the main pipe. Before we can glue them, we have to clean them up with, firstly rough them up a little bit with the sandpaper, and then clean them with rubbing alcohol. 90% is the good one. It will remove some oils, whatever, some dirt from it, and will make it very clean, that surface for the glue. All right. Okay, remember that alcohol is flammable, is very highly flammable, so be very careful. Do not smoke around it. Don't use it around open flame or any sparking equipment. Okay, now clean it inside, all those surfaces. We're preparing to glue the surfaces now in place, and make sure you have your rubber gloves on, and do not forget that you have about 2-3 seconds to put the parts together before the glue actually snaps and glues them together permanently. So be very careful and be very quick, and only glue those parts that need to be attached to each other at that particular moment. Do not glue them in advance, and make sure, again, do not forget that you have 2-3 seconds to put parts together. All right, I just glued those parts together first. Notice that I put a little line before disassembling again and gluing, where to end gluing and where to stop the attachment on both sides, so I know exactly where and how deep to move it, the pipe. Okay. All right. So now we have the very few seconds After we put the glue on the final surface here, to attach those parts together, and then it will glue it permanently. Alright. Okay, so we download this pipe. Let's putting this one, this threaded cover, just attaching it to the pump, just to make sure we have the exact dimensions and it doesn't move anywhere. Where we'll look at this one and we will be lifting it a little bit, just a little bit, maybe 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch up to level both pipes here together. Okay. The good thing that looks like the adapter that comes with this pump is more than sufficient to actually be attached to this old pipe. We don't need this extra adapter that we bought for $2, so we will be returning it back to the store. That's a good thing. Now we have to be very careful with this final step, because again, when we glue it together, it's permanent. So let's work on this one and start lifting this pump a little bit and see how that works out. Okay, so we're not completely done yet. So you may see that I added some pieces of plastic, some plastic sheets under this pump to make it level with this old pipe. Now don't forget to actually mark the place, mark the line, the final line where you're supposed to pull the pipe after you add the glue to it, not less, no more, to make sure that you will attach it to exactly the same distance. Otherwise, it will not be perfect. Okay, now it's glued together over here. So we tighten up those adapters, those nuts here, plastic nuts, very tightly, so nothing moves around, and the glue is really strong. It holds it really strong. So now we're not going to start it. We will have to let the glue dry for maybe a few hours, maybe for a day, and then we will unscrew them and we'll put the rubber O-rings inside that came with those adapters. We put those rubber O-rings to seal the connection, and then we will add connect the wires. So right now those wires are not connected, so all we need is to wait until the glue dries. When it dries out, we will be done in 10 minutes. Final step we do before we connect like all the pipes, we have to lubricate the O-rings that came with that pump with silicone. Okay, make sure you put plenty of silicone on both the ring and the groove that it goes inside. Also put some silicone on the edge of the pipe here and here. You see this silicone, okay? So we're almost done. That's called priming. Make sure there's water in the system and it's standing in the strainer basket. So you see some water in there. This time, now we close that cover tightly and it's time to turn it on. sure you never run the system dry. Always have water in the system. You cannot run the pump dry. Otherwise it will break. This is for priming. This is a requirement to let the air out. Now we're going to close all those valves after the air is out of the system. Now we're closing the valves. This one. The inspector there in the leaks in our piping. You can see more in the leaks so far. So review. And we'll let the system run. This is all works. Project is complete.